at 5 so he can play golf? Does he want his boss to see the results of what's going on in your team? You need to find this out. What he first says may not be the most accurate thing. Next, you need to let him know that you want a raise. Say, what would it take to get a raise? What would ultimate success look like to you? And then you need to let him know that you're working towards that. So a lot of people sometimes they'll start doing all this amazing work, they'll stay late at work, and they'll say, if he really cared, he would give me a raise, or he should notice. No, wrong. You need to tell someone what it is you want, and then tell them that you're gunning for that in a positive way, okay? So in general, you can get a raise, iBanking accepted, but most people could get a raise far more than once a year. And the way you do that is you ask what it is it would take to get a raise, then you decide what it is you're going to do, you let them know, you execute, and the fifth step is to circle back and say, you know, you said it would take X to get a raise, I've done X and more. I'd like to have a discussion with you about that raise. Okay, so that's the way you do it. By the way, there's one characteristic that will be very good for you to get a raise, and that is to have other options. So if you have other job options available, then if you're not getting the raise once, I can understand. But 2 times or 3 times and you deserve it, top performers always know that they have other options. So keep that in mind.
All right, so I really like what he said at the end. Top performers always have other options. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Sabrina because I'm super excited to hear everything she has to share with us. Let me click out of here real quick, Sabrina. There you go.
All right, thank you. So by a show of hands, who has had to ask for a raise? Okay, ooh. And would one of you care to share your experience?
Oh, yeah, I asked for a raise over the summertime in June, and our supervisors, they kind of do a semi-annually review, so in there I was pretty direct with them, and I hadn't gotten a raise in about 2 years, so I was like, could I get a raise, please? And me and my supervisor are really close, so it wasn't that much of a challenge or nerve-wracking to ask him. So it might be different for other people, but that was my experience.
And what was your name?
Bradley.
Thank you.
Sabrina, could we hear from one more person?
Yeah.
There were so many hands that were up. I'm just so like,
what is your name?
Blown away.
Jennifer. Okay.
So when I first started out in my career, I was very young and didn't have any work experience. So I thought the salary that I made when I started was like wonderful. I'm like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. And then kind of like Bradley's situation, a few years went by and nothing happened. And so I went into my manager's office and was like, I'm going to be completely honest, this is very uncomfortable for me to talk about, but I feel it needs to be addressed because I'm sure no one else in this company might be experiencing this, and if they are, it's probably not right. But it was probably 2 years, and I'm like, I haven't got a raise, and then other benefits, they weren't accumulating, and so like I addressed them very frankly, and I think being transparent and honest about your situation and opportunities definitely makes your manager realize what value you bring, and so anyways, like within a week I got a raise, so it was nice.
That is awesome.
Thank you. I've actually, my personal experience, it was a whole year went past by. I didn't get a review, so I went in and I was so nervous. I mean, I was sitting right across from my supervisor and my voice was shaking and my palms were sweating, and it was just so uncomfortable for me where I think she felt more bad she ended up giving me the raise because she felt bad. So I know that for most professionals, negotiating a pay raise can be one of the hardest and most nerve-wracking things to do at work. So based off of a survey that was taken by PayScale Inc., out of 31,000 employees who took the survey, just 43% of workers said they've asked for a raise in their current field. Of the 57% who haven't, 28% admitted that angling for more money made them uncomfortable, while 19% said they were worried about being perceived as pushy, and the remaining 10% were lucky enough to receive one before they had to ask for one. So this is why I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to ask for a raise. The first tip on asking for a raise is to share your goal and ask for feedback on your work. You need to have an open conversation with your manager. Try not to come off as pushy or self-serving. Let them know that your first priority is to excel in your current role and that your long-term goal is to advance. Make sure to tell them that you want to be doing everything you can be doing for setting yourself up for success. You should also ask for recommendations on how you can improve on your current role and what you can do to position yourself for the next role. You should be talking about the future, stay positive, and explain how much you like working for your manager and the company. Everyone loves loyalty. They will now know that you are serious about growing with the company. The second tip is to demonstrate your accomplishments and added value. When you ask for a raise, you want to be able to show that you have taken on additional responsibilities. You need to be able to provide specific details about your accomplishments, like sharing examples of projects and discussing how they positively impacted the business. It might be a good idea to keep a journal of all of the accomplishments and extra responsibilities you have taken on, so that way you can refer back to them when needed. You need to demonstrate that you've gone above and beyond for the organization. The third tip is to practice your pitch and anticipate questions. Like trying to crush an interview, you should never go in having this conversation without practicing. You need to role play so that you know how you will address any questions that might be asked. If you plan on asking for something, it almost always sounds better if you rehearse the conversation. You will have more confidence and be less nervous. All right, back to Ishbu.
Man, woo! Whew. Part 1 and part 2 took you all the way from interviewing to staying hired to asking for a raise. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do at the CMC. So let's go over what we did today. We learned about culture. We learned about talking and presenting yourself. We learned about positive professional relationships along with conveying conflict without taking it personally and asking for a raise. Now, I can't help but stress how important our underlying theme of just being able to communicate is. Communication is what drives all 5 of these points, and being able to be a people person and being able to mold yourself, that is what's gonna help you push over to that next step. So, we're gonna open the floor up for our Q&A session, and if you guys have any additional questions that maybe we don't get to, right below it just tell you where you can find us, along with, can I borrow your handouts please? Along with this awesome, beautiful, colorful handout, it says right on the back where you can find us as well. For those of you who also found the quote from Joanna really inspiring from Joshua Lee, it's also in the handout. So definitely use our handout to, find little ways to make it over to that next level you want to get to at work. So let's open the floor up for some Q&A. Yes.
So I've had a lot of very short-term non-corporate positions. So asking for a raise is not something that I've in my 3-month summer internship. I'm not going to ask for a raise. It's 3 months long. So, but I don't know if that's even the right way of thinking. So going into this, because I graduate in December, is asking for a raise something that is normal? Are you supposed to ask for a raise? Are they supposed to offer you a raise? Is it a time frame thing?
Yeah.
Do you wait a year if you don't get a raise? Do you ask for one?
That's a really awesome question. What's your name again?
Courtney.
Courtney. So basically, Courtney is asking when she gets into her, corporate job, is asking for a raise more normal, or is being given a raise more normal? And honestly speaking, the best way to get a raise is to make it, very clear that you want a raise, and you are constantly communicating with your manager, what do I need to do in order to be able to not really get a raise, because you can't really just ask for money, but you have to be like, can we find time to discuss this? Because once you give your higher up, so let's say we want to give them certain 3 metrics. Let's give them 3 to 5 metrics you want to accomplish within the next 6 to 8 months. Once you give them those metrics and you want to go ahead and keep following up, hey boss, I know this event is supposed to have 300 people. We are 4 weeks in, we have 4 weeks left, and we are over 200. We're going to be looking to have a wait list. This person is going to now know, wow, this person is serious. they are on top of it, they are actually trending a lot further than they should be. This is the person that I will end up having that conversation with. And you always want to go in there talking about, you know, what can I do for the company, for you? Because if you can help them, they're not ever going to have to worry about paying you because they're going to see your value and want to pay you for it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Cool. Thank you. All right. Yes, sir? Oh, 1 minute. All right. Any other questions we have tonight? Yeah, go ahead.
So does the CMC provide additional support?
Yes. So if you guys come to our office at 12.110, you will be able to talk to us one-on-one. We can do mock interviews. We can do mock promotion speaks. There's tons of people for us to introduce you to really be able to talk about what these steps look like and feel like. Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to present to you.